Hey there, welcome back to the channel. It's Lisa from Own the Day Planner, and in this video I want to show you a few different ways that you can DIY cutting out your own stickers. So this is not the DIY tutorial on making your own stickers, that'll be a separate video, but this will be a video on how you can sort of DIY the kiss cut, which is essentially just how you get the sticker off the sticker sheet when cutting it. And so there are definitely a couple of different ways you can do this, and so I would like to show you some inexpensive ways that you can sort of hack the fact that you don't own a sticker cutting machine. So if you're like me and you don't own a Cricut or a Silhouette or any of those fancy machines, but you want to be able to cut out your own stickers in a way that looks like they've been cut by a machine, well then keep watching. Alright guys, so what I have here is some stickers that I designed and printed out myself just on some basic sticker paper, 8.5 by 11. I don't have a fancy printer or anything like that. So this is really something that you can do at home, and I will do a separate tutorial on how I design my stickers and all of that, and I'll show you the details there. But what I really want to do is show you a couple of different ways that you can cut out your stickers that make it a lot easier and that make them look a little bit nicer when they're inside your planner. And I also want to test out and review 2 new cutting tools that I just got in the mail recently. So you will be testing these out with me at the exact same time for the first time, as I have not unboxed these at all. But first and foremost, I do want to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with going in and just manually cutting out your scissors, which is typically referred to as fussy cutting, with a small pair of scissors, and then just kind of going in, for example, if you have a shape that isn't as straightforward as a box, and just kind of going in and cutting around it as close to the sticker design as you are comfortable doing. Some people like to keep a little white border around it. I like that look too, but for the sake of kind of showing you that you can still get pretty precise just with a small pair of scissors, you can do that. And I've left almost no white border on this little circle. These are my little appointment stickers. So if you can see that, it's really tiny. I've left no white border there. And then I can just peel the back off and put that in my calendar. So that's one way. Another way would be to cut it out the same way with small scissors and just leave a little white border, and that's more of an aesthetic if you like that. So that works perfectly fine. Will you get it perfect all the time? Probably not. And for more intricate designs, so for example, if you're doing some sort of watercolor, I like to do those a lot, or even just like a flower or something of that nature, it's going to be a little bit harder to cut around with scissors. You can't be as precise using just an old school pair of scissors, but it still works, and I've done it like that for a long time. Another way that I've done cutting out stickers, again, very simple, very inexpensive, especially if you have stickers that are like here in my sheet A of Lavender Dreams collection, something that I designed as well. These are just sort of like calendar boxes or to-do list boxes. Very simply, is you can take a ruler and just a very simple craft knife. You can get these at your local dollar store as well. And really, all you're going to do is just line up your ruler. And for example, I can cut 4 stickers out at once using this method, and just kind of line up there. Make sure you're using some sort of self-healing mat or a piece of cardboard or something you don't mind cutting through. You don't want to be doing this directly on your desk or your table or wherever you are doing your crafts. So I'm just going to slice down like that. And making these close cuts are usually referred to as kiss cuts. Now, I didn't have to slice all the way off the paper. If I'd wanted to keep them together, I could have stopped, but just for the sake of working with a smaller piece here, I'll show you as I've sliced it off. Now here, I'm not going to slice all the way to the side. I'm going to keep them on this strip. So all I'm doing is just making a very light pressure. I'm just really just tracing the shape with the ruler. Now here I'm doing one at a time, just as an example, but I can easily go and do the whole thing and do 4 at a time. And so here I'm just doing, oops, that was me, see I made a mistake. But Typically I don't do that, but I mean, these things can happen. So I'm just tracing here. Again, this is just an example. And then I'll go and do the other line that's left. And so when you're making these really almost invisible lines, you can hardly see it on camera. I'm sure you won't be able to, but they're very, very thin lines all around. All that is designed to do so that when you are ready to use the sticker, you can literally just peel it from the paper, which I'm going to do right now to show you. So I'm just peeling it from the backing. This particular sticker paper has a silver backing, so you can see when you are ready, you can just peel it. Now, of course, I didn't do a great job on that one as I was a little crooked, but had I done the rest, you would have seen that they just easily pop out just like that. I will probably just do one more to show you what I mean. Again, this is sort of the equivalent of what a Silhouette machine or a Cricut would do, kiss cutting the stickers. So it's just giving it a little bit of a cut as close to the design as you want to get. And if you have any excess borders or you want to make it fit a particular square you have in a planner insert, you can of course make them a little bit smaller, take off, you know, a hair, 1/8 of an inch, whatever you may need to be doing. So you're really just applying a light pressure. Your goal is not to pop it out of the paper just yet. Your goal is to have it while it's still intact and then just be able to peel it from the paper itself. And there you can see it just comes right out and it's ready to use. So I'll just place that back there because I don't want to use it at the moment, but it's there. So you can certainly do that with this. Now you might say, yes, Lisa, that's easy enough when you have squares or rectangles or triangles, things that have a straight edge. I've certainly used the craft knife for circular objects as well. You can go back in and again, it takes some practice, but it's not terribly hard. And again, super light pressure. Here I'm keeping a bit of a white border and I'm just slowly going around the contour, and I'm actually using my other hand to kind of spin the paper to make it easier for me until I get to where I made my first cut right there. And this essentially does the same thing. And so as you can see, if I just put a little pressure on the paper, it comes right out and it's ready to be used. So very inexpensive way. But again, the scissors in this, it's a little more involved because, you know, you have to practice or you're a little less precise with this. With a ruler, it can go really quickly if you're working with straight edges. Now, again, the next step up, I guess, from this would be one of these tools or something similar. So I ordered the Gyro Cut off of Amazon. And this is supposed to be making it really easy to cut out things for scrapping, for stickers, rather scrapbooking and stickers and things like that, cutting out vinyl. It's got a 360 rotating blade for easy cutting of smooth curves and intricate shapes. So that's kind of what I'm after, especially when I want to be cutting out little small things like these coffee cups that have a lot of contours, or these watercolor splotches, or even, for example, a flower like that. So that's one that I want to test versus another one, which is called the Comfort Blade, the Swivel 3. And honestly, it came highly reviewed. I watched some tutorials. I don't know how much different this would be from this. It just looks a little complicated. I have no idea what these little white things are there. So we shall see. The blade, though, does look a lot smaller. So it's not as large as, for example, an X-Acto craft knife. So maybe that's what makes the difference. If the blade is small, you can be a little more precise. I have no idea. Let's try this out. So the Gyro Cut works like a pen, but cuts like a knife. Let's get that open and give it a try on something hard. All right, well, I've pulled it out of the packaging. There isn't anything much to that. It just says to hold the Gyro Cut in the same way as you would hold a pen. Okay, let's give this a shot. So there seems to be a little protective cover on this. It's really just this little plasticky cover. And what intrigues me is that this blade is on an angle and it's so small. I don't know if you can see that, but my goodness, I'm not even sure I would know what direction to use this in. So it says to hold it like a pen. So this is how I would hold a pen. Well, let's say I want to kiss cut around this watercolor circle. Oh, okay. This little ball here is kind of doing the work that I would have previously tried to do with my hand. Now I could still use my hand to move the paper, but what I'm seeing is that I don't even have to move the paper anymore because the blade is actually rotating on its own. That is cool. So I don't have to rotate the paper with my left hand, seeing as I'm right-handed. I can literally just use it like a pen. Holy cow, that was easy. So now the test is, I mean, you won't really be able to see, well, maybe you could see on camera the very thin slice, but the real test is how easy. Did I press hard enough? Can I pop the sticker out? And wow, yeah, it looks like, wow, that came out really easily. Okay, I think I have a new favorite toy. Let's try it out on something smaller. Now, these little coffee cups, I had originally done just kind of straight lines with the craft knife, but it really doesn't look that good in the planner because you really want to go around the coffee cups. So let's see if I zoom you in a bit, if we can get these coffee cups a little more precise. So holding it like a pen, it's kind of got a weird feel to it. Doesn't exactly feel like a pen, but wow, this is a lot easier than the regular straight blade. And that's because the blade actually rotates for you as you are going around the shape. So you can actually keep your image static and the blade will rotate for you. Wow. Now this is a very small little coffee cup icon. I probably didn't do the best job. I'm sure, like anything else, this will require some practice. But if I try to pop it out there, let's see what result we get. I may not have pressed hard enough, or maybe not have gotten the entire contour. This is so tiny. Oh, well then. So I did accidentally rip it as I was pulling it out, but that had nothing to do with the blade. That was just me being too rough. But yeah, I got a cute little white border, save for the little rip that I made myself. Let's see if you can see that if the camera focuses. So if the camera would focus, I could show you that tiny little, this is literally on the tip of my finger. That's how small this little coffee cup is. So if it wasn't for me being a little rough, that would have worked out really, really well. So far, I am impressed with the Gyro Cut. Let's go to the other brand of cutter. I'm really not sure. It says, this simple tool allows precise cutting of curved shapes, lines, and more. Comes with 5 replacement blades and comfort grip for precise cuts. So this is not a rotating blade, but it is a lot smaller than the X-Acto. And these little white things, oh, I see. They are the replacement blades. So let me zoom you out a little bit so we can test this one out. Let's get it out of its packaging. Oh, and I've just noticed that it does say Comfort Grip Swivel Blade on the packaging. So this apparently does swivel. So then it's a similar concept to the Gyro Cut. Okay, so very tiny blade in there. I'm going to remove the cap, try not to cut myself. Oh, I see. So this blade literally, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it actually spins. I'm just touching my finger and it's turning in 360 degrees. Okay, you can't quite see that. It's so tiny, but it actually does move quite liberally with just the touch of your finger. So it actually does rotate. So let's try it with another watercolor here. we'll try to do the contour of this, and I'll attempt to do it without rotating the sheet like I used to do manually with the X-Acto or craft knife. So I'm just giving it a very light pressure all around. Wow, one thing I will say is this feels extremely smooth, and I think it even feels a little smoother than the gyro cut, and I'm not sure what would give me that impression. Maybe because the shape of the gyro cut was odd and I just kept trying to hold it like a pen, like it said you're supposed to, whereas this shape actually feels and looks a lot more like a pen, so maybe it just seems natural. But as I'm cutting this, I can see it can get really, really close, or I can leave that traditional little white border that I like. And it's already popping up here, which means I probably pressed too hard because it's popping up with the backing still on, which means that I know I've put too much pressure for a kiss cut. This would pop right out. And the goal of kiss cutting is for it not to pop out of the sheet necessarily, but for you to just do that initial cut. So when you're ready to use it, you can pull it out. That said, as you can see, I've obviously pressed too hard because it's popped right out. But I do know that I can get a precise cut, and in this case I would just have to peel back the backing on here, which is going to be challenging because I don't have nails, as you can see. I keep my nails short. Fun fact, I try to keep my nails short because I'm learning to play the ukulele, and that requires short nails on at least your chord hand, and I just find it weird to have short nails on one hand and long on the other, so I just keep them both short for both hands. So there you go. I was able to cut that out. That was really kind of effortless, but I would like to test this swivel WW or VVSWVL-3. That is a mouthful. I do want to try to see if I can get it without putting so much pressure so that it's more like a true kiss cut, more like what a Cricut or a Silhouette would do without popping it out of the paper. So I'm applying a much lighter pressure. If you notice with the gyro, it didn't pop out of the paper. It was just ready to be lifted from the backing. So that's already something that I'm noticing now. That could also just be because my hand pressure was different from one tool to the next, or maybe this blade is just a little sharper, and you have to know that with this product, you have to go with a lighter touch. So I've tried to go lighter, and as you can see, it hasn't popped out. I worked on that yellow one. So now the test is, could I peel it back? Oh yes, look at that clean peel. That is a nice feeling, to be able to get a nice border, little white border, not too much, but a precise cut all around so that I could lift it easily when the time comes. So again, obviously using a tool like this one, using a craft knife, using a ruler, using something like the gyro cut, or even just a good old pair of old school small scissors, it's a little more involved, definitely, than a Cricut or a Silhouette machine, but to be honest, I don't feel like learning a new technology right now, and I have fun designing my own stickers for personal use, so this is something that you can easily do. So I'm sure you have a pair of scissors at home, you have a ruler, you probably have one of these lying around if you're a crafter, and if you don't have one, you can get one at the dollar store. It doesn't have to be the X-Acto brand. I have used a dollar store craft knives that personally, between you and I, have done the same kind of job as the X-Acto. So really does not have to be this brand. I will say that these two tools were approximately priced the same on Amazon. I want to say that they were around the $15 to $20 range. So not extremely pricey, obviously, if you're comparing this to a Silhouette or a Cricut machine, which can run you several hundreds of dollars. But of course, maybe this is not in your budget, so you might want to use some of the other more budget-friendly ways to cut your stickers. So guys, I hope you found that helpful and that has given you some ideas as how you can cut out your own DIY stickers, a couple of different ways. And if you like these kinds of videos and you enjoyed this video, please do go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up. I would so appreciate it. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what tools you might be using to cut out your stickers if you don't own a machine and you're like me, who's just doing it manually for the time being. And don't forget to subscribe if you like crafting videos, DIY, and particularly planner-related crafting videos. Then consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. I usually upload at least 2 videos a week, so lots of great planner-related DIYs coming at you. See you in our next adventure. Bye for now.